Okay, okay. Now y'all can hear me after 5 fucking minutes. I just have to update that in the live stream. Watch after 5 minutes. Watch after 5 minutes. I'll have I don't think I have to update though, because I think it's a live stream, so like whoever comes now will probably hear it. I'll just say apologies for sound, that will be rather nice. Apologies for not having sound for some time. Forward it. Forward it till the point we have sound. So yup, yeah, I think that's good. I'll just adjust this. Okay, so yeah, I think it's working. If someone's there who's watching it actively, I would appreciate if you just if you can just put in if you can hear me properly, because that always helps. So yeah, this is a very awkward medium, live streaming, because it's, I don't know, it's a weird medium, but it's also an effortless medium, and that's what I like about it. It takes less effort to live stream, I feel. Maybe that's why I'm having so many fuck ups in these live streams, but I think it's easier than what do you say, like a normal video, because you don't have to edit. That's why a little dangerous as well, because you have to be performative all the time. But yeah, like it's fine though. Like I don't think I'm that important of a person, and I have that much on stake to be performative. This is just there to kind of help me recap my day and do something that I really like, which is writing. A lot of times what happens that I'm just stuck in this loop of just doing the thing that I need to do and then relaxing. There is no middle ground. I don't like to always write. I don't think it's always fun. There are times when it's fun and there are times when it's not fun, but I want to do it even during the time when it's not fun. And that's why this is a platform for that. This helps me contextualize my day and my time, and kind of gives something to me to look up to. I really like to talk, and I really like to engage, and this kind of helps me do that weirdly, even if it's talking to myself. But sometimes a comment drops in and I'm happy. I'm always happy to chat, so that's always there. Yeah, a lot of times I don't even know how many people are watching this, because I'm not adept at this, so I don't have like the entire stat open in front of me. But yeah, that's it, I guess. Let's start the stream, because I don't think this should be 2 hours long. I think this will get done in hopefully 1.5 hours. 90 minutes is enough for this. So I'd like to talk about, first of all, this film. We all know this film. Any cinephile who's out there knows this film called Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I'm so floored by this film. I'm floored by the maximalism of this film. How colorful and weird it is. And I watched it long time back, but I've been rewatching it for almost months now. I'm constantly going back to it, and I'm constantly discovering new things. And this even didn't happen with Parasite. Parasite was a slick film which was interesting, but it never made me cry, whereas Everything Everywhere All at Once made me cry. So I would like to make a video about it, but I don't know what I want to say, because I know what it is and everybody else knows as well. Most of the people, there are so many analyses and so many things about this video, so I don't think that's the value I can add. What I would like have though is I want to give it a try. I want to give writing a film like that a try. And obviously, this idea for live streaming it came later. I'm talking about short film, by the way, because short film is just an easier genre to show writing with on a micro scale. I do have an ambition to kind of capture the ins and outs, the ups and downs of writing a feature as well. But I have not written many features, so it's kind of difficult to capture something which you don't have that much experience with. Whereas live streams, I do have a lot of experience with live streams. I think I'm pretty good. What? No. Fuck. No, not live streams, but short films. I do have a lot of experience with short films. I've written many, and I've made a couple at least. So yeah, I can share something of value around that. What I want to talk about today are two things. We have that in our to-do list as well. First of all, last live stream kind of cut off in the middle. We just have a 15-minute live stream. So I kind of want to recap the structure of Cycle, which is the thing that I'm writing. I really like how it's panning out right now. We'll kind of revisit it today, and we'll kind of see what are the issues with that. Because what I do is so this is the structure that I'm following for this live stream. Generally, when I write, I'm extremely attentive to what I'm writing and if it's right and if it's working. But now what I'm doing with these live streams is I'm basically working with iterations, because that way I can have more live streams and we can have a process which is process of iteration, which is honing in on things we like and kind of discarding the things we don't like, which is much more I think visible than like your normal way of working, where you're constantly you're iterating, but you're iterating on a micro level. I think iterating on a macro level has many advantages, and weirdly this live stream is helping me do that, because I want to do it though. So anyway, so that's the first thing that I'm going to do, is getting the outline cleanup done for Cycle. And also I want to kind of stress this. I don't work like this. I'm not a very structured writer. I'm a very messy writer. Most of the time my drafts weirdly end and start and go anywhere. I don't outline my drafts that much. I believe in experiential writing, where you just like writing and then you're feeling the emotions that you're feeling while you write, and then you kind of write those feelings, or like basically you make your way as you go. And I think it's pretty fun to do that. But most of the time what it brings out is a very incomprehensible, very loose draft, which I don't think is that advantageous for me. And writing with an outline helps me kind of eliminate that. And also it helps me kind of showcase a process of writing. Writing is a very weird thing, because it's all happening in your mind. All of the things are inside this, this thing. So it's kind of difficult to always be organized. But having this live stream kind of helps me do that at least a little bit. It helps me follow a path. I think that's pretty good. So that's one thing. We're going to do a Cycle outline cleanup. And second is figure BOXMAN narrative. So there's this script called BOXMAN, which is, I think, for the longest time, even before I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, I wanted to make a film which is like Swiss Army Man. And right now that I have Everything Everywhere All at Once, I want to make that film like that. The sincerity of it, the happiness of it, the sheer joy you feel when you watch that film. I kind of want to recreate that in my own little way. Is that copying? I guess it is copying. But who the fuck cares? Some of my best work that I've done has been copying. and people never figure it out. People never figure out that I've been copying. uh, but that's fine, because I know I've copied, but I've kind of tried to make it my own. I know this sounds a little entitled, this sounds a little, I don't know, this sounds a little American, for the lack of a better word, that I'm taking something and then I'm making it my own. Yeah, Tarantino says it a lot, but I think it's uh, it really is true. There's nothing original about anything. Like, there's nothing in this whole world uh, has an originality to it. Everything is kind of copying something, and then we are kind of changing a few things, making it our own. What things, what do you say, like, what things match with our tastes and what things don't, and we kind of make it our own that way. Everything everywhere all at once is itself a big exercise in taking different things from different films, different filmmakers, and kind of putting it into this beautiful collage. And I want to do that, I think, for BOXMAN. I mean, everything everywhere all at once, I think, is the biggest inspiration for that, because all my films are dark and bloody and broody. I kind of want to not have that. I want to have something which is happy and fun and imaginative. A lot of things which are happy, they kind of fall into this weird category of happy but still very non-experimental, very boring. I don't want to do that. I want to have something happy and experimental and creative, because that's the sweet spot, that's the place I want to be in. For the longest time, I felt that horror was the place for me to kind of have fun and at the same time think about narratives which are interesting. But nowadays, I'm not really that big of a fan of horror. I don't know why, but nowadays I really want something which is happy and which is doing something hopeful, rather than pessimistic. I don't think there's no value in being pessimistic. I think there's a lot of value in being pessimistic. I'm just having this. I'm having these feelings a lot where I kind of want to be optimistic. I kind of want to be hopeful about the world rather than being pessimistic. So yeah, enough talking, I guess. I've been talking for how much time? I think almost 15. No, not more than that. I think 20 minutes. So yeah, let's start with our cycle structuring. Yeah. Also, drop a comment if you guys. Okay. Dada pathway. Fuck. It's weird. Just. Okay. Okay. Let's just start with. So this is the whole thing. I know this is big. Let me just turn off that music a little bit. I don't know why, but that music fucking sometimes just messes with me. I don't know, weird. So yeah, let's start. I'll just read this first, and I'll read it aloud, and then I'll probably change it as I go, but yeah, we can do the changes in iterations as well. I don't want to do it in iterations. I don't know. Let's figure it out. So yeah, I think the logline is: a man who's unemployed and feels alienated by society's laws and standards of employment discovers a game which can give him money just by playing. And this can be a thing. Or is it too good to be true? Can this be a thing, or is it too good to be true? Cool. Let's figure it out. How this draft is working. Is this fine? Sometimes I kind of hate having this. Now it kind of looks weird. This is fine. Yeah. Fuck it. I'm just starting in a sec. Alright, let's start. So Arjun is running in the morning with half-torn shoes, sits at the sidewalk looking at the people inside the gym, fancy machines. Call back later. As Arjun goes on to run a bit more, he sees a fitness cycle in the dump. this is going to be a very difficult point in the narrative to pull off because this weird coincidence, but I think I'll try and figure it out somehow. Arjun checks the cycle out. The cycle is pretty new. He opens his door. He opens his house door. Crappy, small, dingy house. Brings in the cycle, and this is the time he also notices the USB wire in the cycle, which connects to an entire circuit. He tries the cycle once, but the pedals are too tight to spin. We cut from this to a dinner scene with his sister. The sister and her husband talk about a data entry job that has come up in the office. Just a second. Okay. A data entry job that has come up in the office. Arjun resists a bit. The conventional logic of पूरी life room के अंदर नहीं डालनी है. Arjun's Jijaji gets a bit mad. Last blow by Arjun's sister, who declares to stop giving him allowance for the next month. So either he takes the job or does something else. Arjun begrudgingly nods. So one thing here, because this is a dinner scene, I think whenever I'm outlining scenes, I'm super careful to not add a lot of beats in them, because when you're writing dialogue, a lot of times what happens is the flow of dialogue is taking you somewhere, and it's kind of right to go that way. And if you're adding a lot of beats, it's like it's a thread and you're constantly constantly tying it to different hooks, and that kind of creates like a very muddled scene. I feel a lot of times a good scene flows in a very seamless way, and when you have a lot of these hooks, it can't flow in a seamless way. And that's why what I like is I just write whatever I feel that the scene should accomplish, at least, and sometimes even not at least, but like whatever's coming to my mind, and it needs to be less, because then I have more time to explore character. Anyway, people kind of don't, I think, like, I don't know about people, but I don't like when plot, there's a lot of plot in a film. I like it when there's some exploration with the character, when you're living with the character, when you're kind of breathing with them. It's a little, it's a little laid back, it's a little nicer. If you have a lot of shit, I don't think, thoda sa, I don't know, it breaks. It somehow, kuch to karke, it just breaks. The whole, I think the thing comes from how we have a chat, like how as humans we talk. We don't talk articulately all the time. We have these moments where we are just floating around with our conversations. And in a screenplay, even if we don't want that, even if we don't want people talking exactly, people talking, rambling and rambling, we don't want that. We don't want this live stream in our conversations. But what we want is moments of that rambling, and then you're coming back to point, or maybe it's rambling until you realize it was for something important. Any of those two, it works. When we just have rambling, that doesn't work. When we just have characters constantly just spitting out the best lines and moving the plot forward, it can work, but it loses the naturalism of a conventional human conversation. And at the end of the day, what we're doing through these scripts, at least, and through the films that I make, and a lot of filmmakers make, majority of them, is we're trying to represent life. We're trying to imitate maybe life, and we're taking some elements from our imagination, but the point is to represent life and imitate life. So it's that incomprehensibility a little bit should be there in a script. Let's go on forward. So he comes back home and he tries his hand at the cycle by googling the brand of the cycle they have, and has the game installed. He installs the game. Once he installs the game, here we also know that the game can make you real money, and connects the cycle with to a crappy laptop. The cycle turns on. This must feel like a momentous point for him, and I think this will, because the scene is big, and that will help it make a momentous point. Because I think whenever the scene is small, we just are like, okay, this is a passing scene, and scene is big, it's momentous. I feel Sometimes that's not the case, but I think a lot of time it is. We need to give more time to the things that are important. So like if a scene is important, more time. I mean, we shouldn't drag a scene, but yeah, more things are happening in one scene. So as he cycles, the sound of the cycle gets louder. We look inside the room from outside. The entire room is lit by PC screens. Arjun is having the time of his life while he cycles away and sees the counter of money in the game increasing and increasing, and in an instant it turns red and the cycle breaks. The cycle pedal jams and starts rotating backwards, and the chain breaks down. The game closes off and his PC too. Next day, he receives a letter, which in sweet corporate tongue says, "We detected that you are using a device which doesn't match your IP. To get a device that matches your IP for free, ping us here," and he does that. Next day, he gets the cycle. So we had some issue with here, right? I think. Okay, there's no issue here. I remember there was some issue here. I think there was an issue of transition here because, like, yeah, exactly. So here also we need some transition. So I think the problem here, I'll tell you the problem here. Okay. Sorry for the notification. I'll tell you what the problem here is. So I think there needs to be a smooth cycle between how you navigate between the scenes. In a short film, in a feature film, everywhere. But I think in a short film, it's kind of more important because you have less time. So you have to make every single moment count. Here what happens is that here his game closes off. Then you have the next day and an entire scene which is not doing that much. He just receives a letter. There's some exposition and he does he does a thing to salvage it. And then the next day we get the cycle, and this is the break in a narrative. So we need to handle it. There are two ways to handle it. Either we have the approach where you're just spitting the letter in as a transition. So like the transition is the letter. He's reading the letter. It starts from the letter. The scene starts from the letter. He's reading the letter, and then he clicks on a thing somewhere where he books his cycle, and the next day, the next scene. That's one way to go about it. The second way is to have some transition between them to kind of make that scene feel a little breathy. I'll probably go with the first one because I think that's kind of, I like that, where you're not wasting too much time on these scenes and just, quickly going through them and kind of saving time for important scenes where things are happening. So I'll probably go with that first way of writing it. So yeah, but I'll just keep it here so that I know what the pain point of this is. The next day he gets the cycle and he does the setup. He's welcomed by a voice which wasn't there in the game. The voice introduces him to the game. Game. They also ask for his bank details. I think one more thing we need to have here is he needs to set it up somehow, because right now it's not set up, right? Yeah. So he gets the cycle because the whole idea of this cycle keeping them as employee is that they kind of harvest energy from these people who are unfit. They can cycle, or they want to get fit at home. They can do great cardio, and like these guys will basically collect energy, and the whole point is to have this decentralized energy. Like this is the point for the company. I'm not talking about the idea for this film, but like the startup idea or whatever, the company ka idea, usme we have this thing ki they plug it in and they are basically harvesting energy from these guys, and these guys are basically rats. So one or two people won't really matter that much. 50 million people will matter. But also 50 million people bring in other problems, like a lot of people knowing, and a lot of people knowing brings in the problem of employee harassment and exploitation and all those things, and those kind of like the company doesn't want to go into that territory. So it's secretive. It is focusing on some employees, It's not marketing itself that much, but the whole point is whoever's there, they will be exploited as fuck. So yeah, the next day the cycle, he gets a brand new cycle. This voice introduces him to the game and shit. The first time cycling and making money for it, this is the first time he cycles and he gets money for it. This is the point which makes his eyes light up. He's so deep and his limbs are moving so fast. He's into it. Him sweaty, and we jump cut to him sweaty, fallen, exhausted on the bed with a bottle of water. As he gets the notification, X amount has been credited, treat yourself for doing so good. And he orders a pizza and eats it off and sleeps. So I think these two scenes, right? I am kind of excited to do these two scenes, because what these two scenes do, not these two scenes, what these two scenes do really nicely is that they kind of have this like Edgar Wrighty transition, and I like that a lot. So the first scene, what it does is he's moving fast, he's making money, he's cycling, and there itself I'm going to have the actor sleep. So like this, he's going to dive back, and we're going to take the entire action, and in the next scene usko bed pe he'll do the cycling wala thoda movement and he'll sleep. So that jump cut to that will be very interesting, and probably I'll take it in like a frontal camera angle, because what happens is this ye hoga. So I'll take the camera like this, and then when he's sleeping we'll go like this again, and when we cut it, it's like, oh, seamless. That's always fun to do, no matter what people say. That's always fun to do, and also it's interesting to watch. What it tells you, what it tells you when we have this cut in between is that it's the continuation of action. So like, I think for here, at least narratively, it's telling me first of all, yeah, the time has passed between it, but also he's psychologically inside the cycling mode right now. So like, oh, he had a great day. If I'm jump cutting to him sleeping, it's like, oh, he's just like, he's super exhausted. Here it's not just he's super exhausted, but he had fun. I think that's nice to do that. Next day at his sister's house, he brings gift, and I don't know what the gift is. I'll figure it while I write it, because I don't know sister's character that well right now. It'll be a good gift though. It'll be an important gift. And he tells all of this to her. She's surprised but also concerned, but she doesn't say anything. She Googles about the cycle company, opens up websites, a lot of conspiracy theories, first person and second person, and there are all of these conspiracy theories about the company, and their clean energy image has a dark side which is mostly ignored in the cultural context. Cool. I think what I need to do here, more than anything at this point in the narrative, I don't want to go the whole horror film exposition route. That's kind of done. But there is a horror film exposition here, and it is a cliche, but cliches exist for some reason. So this, I can't remove this. What I can do though is I can kind of have, I don't know, I don't know what to have here. It can't be, I mean, maybe it can be a montage. I'm not totally against it. But is there a way to treat the montage differently? That's like my whole concern. Because I think this will be very, 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 very boring if I'm just doing that montage wala thing. I'd rather like her Google a few things and then show nothing. I mean, that would be kind of, I think that would be better. Like, I feel that would be way better than having a montage here, because it'll eat up a space with a character that's not really central to a film. The central character is the brother. We need the sister just enough to have some emotional weight pulling him back. That's it. The sister doesn't need to do anything else. She's not there to be a fully formed other character who has her own life. She's a sister who's catering and kind of concerned about this guy. And I know this sounds a little shallow, because in films we always talk about how we want fully rounded characters, everyone needs to be like a real human, but that's really not possible all of the time. Most of the time we have to cut corners. So what we would do rather is we would give an illusion that they are a fully formed human by something, some showing their lifestyle, showing something of them. It also can be their costume and the way they look. I think Coen brothers do it very well. And that illusion, or that I think illusion is the wrong word, impression, that impression becomes your perspective on how this person is. And then we can obviously play with it and we can break it if we want to. But yeah, I think that's how we do it. Anyway, so I think that this is what I'll do here. So I'll just write in this. Just a second, I'm getting a call from my mom. Hello, yeah. Hello there, and sorry for that. Okay, let's continue. Here, I'll just write it up. No montage here. Oh, jump. Oh, ending the scene on a stare, a terrified stare, can be a lot more impactful. And right now I'm not even thinking about the sequencing of these things. That's another aspect that comes in. I think the sequencing of these things is a massive thing. And yeah, it will be there. It'll come. I'm only getting familiar with streaming this because this generally is a very quiet process for me, and I don't want it to be that quiet. As I said, I kind of want it to be at least a little bit entertaining, if not a lot. At least if someone's just putting it on because they are alone in their house and they would like to talk about writing and they want to have this stupid live stream on, at least they should have something to drain their ears. At least I'm doing that. Anyway, let's go on. She calls him again and again, but he's not picking up the call. He's busy cycling, and because we are in his shoes for this, the way the camera moves and edit is done is also as if we are in his head and we are experiencing the euphoria of cycling. Also, while cycling, the recommended podcast are another form of corporate propaganda done by the company. I need to figure this out because here it's just one line. I think this will be an important thing to figure out. Corporate propaganda done by the company, because it shouldn't be really obvious that it's corporate propaganda. It should be good enough. It should be good corporate propaganda, which can hide itself better with the flowery words and nice language and the legendary stories. I think Severance kind of achieved a good balance of it. While pehle the corporate propaganda tha, but corporate propaganda was it was normal. It felt normal, and as the story moved, the propaganda became more and more into the territory of cult. And I think I would like to do that as well. I think that's a good thing. I kind of failed to mention Severance here. Yeah. Him sweaty Holland, this has happened. Okay. And suddenly the sister comes in and unplugs the power from his laptop. Arjun is pissed. They have an argument somewhere along the lines. The first you say you want me to do a job, then you don't want, then you want me to stop. Then you stop me from doing it. The sister is concerned and says, "I said I want you to do a normal job. This is shady." He defends the thing and accuses his sister that she wants him to do the job that she gave him, and it keeps her always above him. It ends bitter with his sister going off. I have a concern about this argument. I don't want it to be a melodramatic piece of shit argument between a sister and a brother. I mean, that'll suck. I don't want that. But at the same time, I'm also a little towards, like, I also don't want it to be completely casual. So we need to have that middle ground here. And I think where the middle ground will be achieved is in the brother. So, like, first the sister is extremely melodramatic and she's talking these extreme situations, and also this kind of relates to also this is kind of the same scene. No, this is a different scene. I need to shoot it in a I kind of want to shoot it in a one shot stable shot. Because of my limitation that I can probably have one actor at a time. I can't have a very derived scene. So I can have have the sister here in the door, and we can put the camera outside the door where the sister, we're just staring at the sister, and we're just listening we're just hearing our main character's voice, which is Arjun right now. I'll change it because I hate that name. इसमें interesting ये चीज़ होती है जब when we kind of frame it that way. I'll show you how I'm thinking of framing it, because right now it's not coming through properly. Just do I have a whiteboard here? Just a second. Let me just have a whiteboard. It's a Myroka whiteboard, nice. Okay. So, like, I kind of want to frame it this way. I don't know, maybe I'll get a better frame than this. Fuck. Light. Yeah, maybe I'll get a better frame than this, but I think this is what I have right now. It's a very bad stick figure thing. I guess it does the job. It's something like this. And here, whatever we have here, the foreground, and she's just here, and Arnav is here. Arjun, I'm sorry. It's so forgettable, this name. Let's draw a cycle here as well. I mean, something which looks like a cycle. So yeah, they can have a conversation like this, and we'll just show this much. We won't show here. But this is a mixing of genres and the mixing of convention of genres in that way, because such shots generally are not there in a film which I am aiming to make, which is a little fast paced. But I hope that this can work. I really like this framing as well. I tried it in one more film that I made, but it just got cut out from the film. So yeah, let's go back to our thing. I don't know if anyone's watching right now. I'm resisting to look as well, because it makes me conscious if a lot of people are watching, and it makes me disappointed if less people are watching. So yeah. So he then dedicates completely to the cycle. His routine is waking up, eating leftover, eat water, whatever. Eat water leftover he has from the night. Start cycling, lunch while cycling till night, eat again at night by ordering, and sleep. Here, the voice should talk like a Protestant about work. I think this is important, because here is the transition of the voice a bit. I'd like it to be bold. So, like any of the here, podcasts are another form of soft corporate propaganda. Protestant about work. I think this is important because I think most of the Protestant work ethic वाला thing वो ingrain हो गया है हमारे culture में. Even if I'm not a Catholic or whatever Christian, Protestants are not Catholic. I know that. I'm not that stupid, okay? I'm sorry. But even though I'm not a Christian, that work ethic wala thing, Protestant work ethic, I think it's also there in our society and our culture. I don't know if it's a part of Hinduism. I don't think it is, but I haven't read enough about that, so I probably don't want to do some weird assumptions that are not true. But I think Protestant work ethic is a good word for it. So yeah, Protestant about work. So like the voice should be like that, where it's all about how this work will give him happiness. And we slowly see him rising up the leaderboard. Wake up, it's time, the voice inside his head says, while he brushes. You need to solve this. You can't be so late every day. This is not dialogue, but this is just there to have block. So like it's like blocking. I think it's like blocking what ideas need to be there in every scene. This can be. So I think the dialogue will be much more colorful than this. I mean, I at least hope that it will be. So they give you, and we here as well kind of are Protestant in that way. The voice basically shouts and berates him through the day while he does his thing, while he does cycling. It has become like a job. He also sleeps on the cycle. Here's the food. Here the food. Okay, the food he has in a plate has gone rotten. So like he's not eating regularly, though. That's there as well. This is setting up the new normal. So until here we had a discovery phase for the whole thing. So I think here it's probably till the middle here, and the argument is basically till here. The argument is basically a breaker of that, and then in the middle he kind of goes hard on his whole cycling thing, and he gives his own freedom for that. He's asleep on the cycle itself. This is where it's midnight. The voice starts talking to him. She asks him if he wants to meet her. If he wants to meet her, he just grunts and nods. You can meet me, she says. I think what I can start with is not this. She asks him if he's awake, almost like a wife. Like a wife would ask a husband if he's awake while sleeping, because I think the voice is going that close to him. And just think about someone who you think as a partner for your life being this corrupted corporate machine. Like, that'll be fucking crazy. And at least in a marriage you can get a divorce. Here you can't. The voice will always be inside. The voice says, by cycling, if you win, I'll meet you. Show me how much you want me. That's when he wakes up. That's when he wakes up and starts cycling at night. Show me how much you want me is not a good line, but is a good indication line of what we want. By cycling, if you win. But it will be somewhere along these lines, even if I don't think it will exactly be this, but it's a simple line, so it kind of contextualizes the audience into the story shifting gears. Having those lines where maybe you're not giving the plot out, or maybe you're not telling the audience that this is the plot point we are on, but just kind of updating the ticker in their mind to say that, okay, this is the point of the structure that we're switching to. It kind of helps them anticipate what's going to come next, because I think I'm someone who writes a lot of unstructured shit. One of the hardest things to have in an unstructured shit is that we don't know where we don't know what will come next, and that's not what we are going for. We want to know what will come next. That's important. Yeah, that's when he wakes up and starts cycling at night. His sister comes in the morning. His room door is closed. She bangs on his door. He has a weak grunt, which implies he wants to open the door, but he can't. Tells her to go away. The voice says, first Arjun, what does the voice say? Okay, tell her to go away, not tells her. Tell her to go away. The voice says. The Arjun resists, but then he does say it. Okay. At night, he's wet from all the sweat. After a whole day of cycling and tired, we see his vision is closing and opening. The voice saying, you did a good job and you have earned your sleep. Yeah, he pours water. This is again a very Christian Protestant work ethic wala thing. Earning your sleep. You need to earn your sleep. As if as human beings we're just like, we built a society to work. As if that's not true. We work to build a society, not the other way around. He pours water over his head and he's a bit less sleepy, so he takes the cycle to a dump and dumps it. This is where he takes a decision. I want it to be a snorri camp. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off, but I think what's important here, when this cycle is a source of oppression to him, but it's also a norm. Doing your job is a norm. If you want to break it, and if you want to go beyond that, you need to be extra brave. So you have to pour water over your eyes to wake yourself up. But not just that, but you have to get out of your house, and you have to do something which almost feels wrong when you're doing it. It almost feels like this is the thing that will just fuck up everything. But you need to do that if you feel that this is oppression and this should end. So yeah, here him kind of throwing water over his face and then picking up the cycle, it needs to be extremely subjective, extremely psychological, but at the same time it needs to be rough and away from the grammar of the film that we have been following right now. So like whatever the grammar of the film is, film grammar I'm talking about, whatever that is before this point here where he pours water over his head and takes the cycle and dumps it, here the grammar of the film needs to be completely different. It's a big change in our character and we need to show that. He comes back home really tired. Here again things will be normalized. The grammar will be restored here. He comes back home really tired. The voice is eating his mind off. And curses, rants, humiliating banter. That's why that's the first time the voice says we won't leave. We won't leave is important because it's not just the voice, it's many people, many ideas, many people who want him to cycle. He realizes a weight on his arm. We pan down, he's holding the cycle in his arms. I'm so excited for this. ये money shot है. This is the money shot. Because it's basically proving that the cycle is haunted here. And I like that. वो सही चीज़ होती है. Whenever it comes, it's good. A close on Arjun as every light dims down. A blink and a match cut to his studio where he's cycling, and we do hear his cycling. Okay, one second. I'm just having a thought here. Here. His sister wala thing, na? Here, she also opens up about their relationship. She apologizes. Arjun cries Devi. But someone just puts a hand on his mouth, shutting him up. This is important because this is a point where we kind of have this whole wow, it's 12. I reckon nobody's watching it, but I'll continue anyway. Maybe because nobody's watching. So, but someone just put a hand on his mouth, shutting him up. And when they shut him up, what happens after that? When they shut him up, we cut to inside his room. Arjun has a mouth on his own. Arjun has a hand on his own mouth, and the voice says, tell her to go away. This does say it. Playlist has ended. We'll start it again. How do you spell apologizes? Okay, this way. Yeah, this is American English, okay? First of all, Google should fix that. I think they can fix it. I don't know. I think there is a setting to do that, but I'm just too lazy, I guess. I don't do it. Yeah. So, close on Arjun. So we're coming back to it. We pan down the cycle. Close on Arjun as the light dims down a blink. Match it to his studio where he's cycling, and we do hear his cycling. The voice talking about how great his purpose is. Something like the voice can't let him leave it because he's too valuable. This will change probably. I don't like this. We do hear his cycling and the voice encouraging him. Almost like a femme fatale, because I think that's the ideology here. That's the idea here, that I think that voice is kind of a femme fatale. For people who don't know femme fatale, I think let's just Google it. Google can explain it better than me. Femme fatale. Femme fatale is an attractive and seductive woman, especially one who's likely to cause distress or disaster to a man who becomes involved with her. Yeah, kind of true. But also this definition and this interpretation of a femme fatale is extremely sexist. And yeah, femme fatale is an extremely sexist way of looking at women. But at the same time, it talks to something which is very primal in human beings, very primal in men and women, I think. But yeah, both of us. Okay, both of us. That's this thing that getting attracted to an opposite sex, an opposite gender, can drive us. Opposite gender, to pata nahi. I don't know what is an opposite gender. There are so many genders, but yeah, opposite sex drives us. Getting attracted to the person, the sex or gender that you generally get attracted to, that can make you do crazy things. That can make you do things that you don't anticipate and you don't know that you would do. And I think the whole point of femme fatale is this, that she's kind of disguising as a point of she's not disguising, she's a point of attraction for our main character, but also she's using that attraction to kind of, to kind of fuck him up, basically. So, this is the point where Arjun has completely closed his eyes. He's cycling still, and the voice calls him. The light flashing on him. He has completely closed his eyes. I like this moment a lot because it's the, I think, the close up of him cycling, and maybe he has glasses on. If he has glasses on, what we get is that we get a reflection there, and I can do it in I can probably do it in CG or something where he has these glasses on and that reflection shows us like his progress or something like that. It'll be an interesting thing if that can happen, but I don't think it can be pulled off 100%. We'll see. Fuck. Okay. This is the point. Arjun has completely closed his eyes. Okay, the light flashes on him. He opens his eyes. He's transfixed by what he sees. A hand slowly comes out of the computer, caresses Arjun. He feels every bit of it. The voice suddenly becomes nice as it moves its hand around Arjun's face. This is the point where there is euphoria for the main character. I think this is completely stolen from Lighthouse, this moment. And then boom, Arjun's face explodes. The sound of cycle continues though. His blood-soaked legs are still working. We see his face in a mush of brain and muscles and nerves behind the legs, out of focus. But the legs are moving and moving and moving and moving. So the point of euphoria, the loudest the film is at this moment, at this beat. And then once the boom happens, once it goes, the boom is also not going to be loud. It's going to be quiet. It's more going to be like just like a flesh, the sound of flesh. ऐसे कुछ तो. And Arjun just explodes. And the sound of cycle continues. His blood soaked जो भी है. Then it's completely quiet. We kind of pull all the sound back. We don't have any of the sound there. Because we want to make people feel this time. We want to make them feel as if they were there and someone just killed a man. And they're hiding and they're looking at that the thing that was a person before, but now that is not a person. That's just a collection of muscles and brain and skin, and it ends. So I didn't have confidence that this would be so good. I mean, it's not good, it's not great, it's just an outline, but I didn't think this would be so good. I thought that I would have plenty of problems to change. I don't see many. I think it's a very good place to start writing detailed with. Start, just churning out script, just typing it out. So yeah, I think what I will do is, now this whole thing, I want to write it down. And I don't think I should. I don't know if I should, because I don't know. Maybe I should. But again, I don't know if I should do that. If I should. Okay, has the stream closed off again? Okay, it hasn't. Okay, that's good. So I don't know if I should write it in front of you guys. Because it'll be. This is boring on itself, but it's just an outline. And that's why it's not that boring. But if I'm writing it down, I think it'll be heck of a lot boring. But it's a very quiet process. Writing is not a like, you can't always talk to yourself. Sometimes you do talk, sometimes you don't. What I would do is, just moved my light. Yeah, so what I would rather do, I think, is I would I can record it. I can record my writing and I can make some videos around it. I think that would be a lot better, just talking about my writing. And I think I can have a writing update, because again, the whole point of this live stream, weirdly, is not for you but for me. That's why this is so boring. So yeah, I would like to do that. I would like to make this I'd like to write it at least as a tight. I don't think it's a 5-minute script. I think it's a 10 to 15 minute script, or maybe even 20 minutes. But I think I will cap it around 10 pages, 10 to 15 pages most. And actually you can write 10 to 15 pages even in a day if you want to. I've seen people writing it in like a couple of hours, so I don't think that's a big deal. But yeah, I would take like a week. I would take Diwali for that. I would take the whole Diwali to write, just type this out and get the first draft out. And once the first draft is out, then I think we can do some sessions around it. I'm not going to stop making live streams though until that point, because I love it. I love doing this. So what I would do is I would pick up some other idea. I would pick up some other script and structure that as well. And maybe we can have some other things as well here. Maybe some other creative things that we can, talk about and do. I really think that the whole point of doing these live streams is to focus on one thing at one point. And that's why live streams would be shorter, but that's a good thing, I guess. Until I write this out, I think that's a good thing that live streams will be shorter. So yeah, we have done the first task in our to-do, which is, yes, not clapping too hard, because then this will happen. I don't want that. So yeah. Yeah. Now I think let's just, one person is watching. I don't know who that person is. If someone's there, just say hello if you can. Hello. Yeah. I have this paranoia from like when oh wow, it's showing up here. I know. Fuck it. So now let's just start with the second thing. This has been done. Second thing is BOXMAN. So yeah. What is BOXMAN? BOXMAN is a film which I thought of quite a while ago, me and my friend, and we wanted to do something fun. And the whole idea actually at the start was of an introvert who's wanting to kind of be in his own shell. So if you guys have, if any of you guys, ek banda hai, but still, if you have watched this film called, okay, wow, I don't remember the film. It's directed by Lenny Abramson. Okay, let me just Google that film. I think that film is a fantastic film. So if you haven't seen it, you must. Lenny Abramson. I think the spelling is completely wrong. Lenny, I said. Oh fuck. Okay, Lenny Abramson. Frank. Yeah, Frank is a wonderful film. Oh. He directed The Little Stranger as well. I need to watch this film. That's amazing that he did it. Cool. So yeah. Anyway. Now, first of all, let's just switch to the whole window. Yeah. That's better. So BOXMAN is kind of like that, where this one person has a box over his head. Like, that's the whole idea. But I thought of I wanted to showcase it in a way which is which makes sense for the narrative. It's not just a novelty concept. And I tried to write it as an introvert wala thing, but I couldn't get somewhere with that. Maybe because I'm not an introvert. I mean, I am an introvert in some sense, but I think I consider myself a lot more of an ambivert. I'm someone who likes to talk to people, but I just don't have courage talking to people. And I don't know how introverts feel. If they like to talk to people and they just don't have the courage to talk to them, if they can overcome it. I don't know. So yeah, I would rather not write about it if I don't know it. I mean, at least this introvert and extrovert thing, because yeah, it's kind of super subjective. Let me just adjust my lighting a bit. Yeah. So yeah. So I moved on from that idea, but I really liked this idea. I really liked a man with a box over his head. That perspective is completely wrong. Forgive the perspective. But I really like this idea of this guy with a box over his head, and we are talking about this guy. That's kind of interesting, and it can explore a lot of things. It can explore being an introvert and all as well. I don't know how hands are. Let's just not give him hands. Again, this is not the way I actually write. I never draw while writing, and I think I should do it more because it's fun. Let's just have this. Let's give him like a belt. Yeah. So I think the whole idea with BOXMAN is having this guy. But now what to have as a narrative, because there needs to be something. What is his conflict? What are we talking about? It's a fun idea to have a box and a man here inside that box, but that's not enough. So I was thinking a lot about this until I realized that this can actually be about escapism, and we can have these two things here. I think think about a man who's living two separate lives. We are introduced to this man by his imagination, by the life that he's living. So like a man, do you just, I think there is a way to drag. I hope there is a way to drag. I'm kind of new to this. There is a way to drag, but I don't think it is with this. It's just with mouse, which is unfortunate, I guess. Anyway, so think about this man, and this man is a man leading two lives. Man leading two lives. So I think imaginary, real. This is the life that he experiences inside. He experiences inside the box. Now, he's a young man, by the way, and this is the life he's scared of. This is the life he's scared of. So why is he scared of this life? I don't know yet, but it's probably because either he has something, he has money problems and shit, and he's extremely scared of this, or he's just lonely. I think it's kind of both. uh, it's yeah. Also, I think a lot of, we'll kind of talk about this. So like, I think this whole idea is about escapism more than anything. I think uh, currently, at least, BOXMAN I kind of like to do these balloon kind of things a lot. Kind of fun to do. So currently, BOXMAN is it's really bad. I shouldn't do it right now, but I kind of feel like doing it. So yeah. So yeah, BOXMAN is about escapism. It's about escaping not a boring life, but a scary one. At least it's not scary in the sense mafia is chasing him or something. It's just he's scared about where he'll go in his life, and that's why he focuses on this imaginary world uh, inside the box. So it's box is like a VR goggle for him, a cheap VR goggle, and this can totally be made with a VR goggle. But box is way more endearing, I think, and it's way more powerful in a lot of ways. So yeah, so it's about experiences in the box, and yeah, the life he's scared of. Why is he scared of the life? Why? It's just, so why is he scared of this? Why scared? Loneliness, making nothing out of life, and inability to solve mundane problems of day to day. I think this is good for like whiteboard shit, but it's kind of bad as well. This Myro thing. Anyway, it's good enough. I'm working on it. So this is there. So I think that's why he's scared. Imaginary inside the box experiences. What is it? These are stories. So I think this is something that I'm taking from Everything Everywhere All at Once. These are genre films. For the longest time, I wanted to make a. For the longest time, I wanted to make a film which has multiple styles of filmmaking, multiple styles of cinema in them. And I think a lot of people are actually doing it now. Everything Everywhere All at Once is one example. But then there's also, I think, Bo Burnham's Inside is one of them, where it's not movies but different styles and conventions of YouTube video genres. So yeah, I would actually like to do something like that. Having a short scene, black and white, and then maybe a thing which is a slick sci-fi, maybe a trashy something else. Like, just having those things kind of help, I think, because I think genre itself is helpful to deal with a lot of things, and to deal with psychological complexities in a narrative is actually a pretty good way. But here, what genre does is it actually is escapism for him. Genre. These are genre films. Different. He plays tropes. Of main characters. He plays tropes of main characters who are invincible. Tropes of main characters is the wrong thing. Tropes of heroes. He plays heroes. So this is important because I don't want to just explore one kind of hero. I don't want to just explore the Western hero or the noir hero or कुछ कोई और मतलब Hindi film hero. I kind of want to explore how his mood and how his life experiences. I want to see how this character's life experiences make him choose the heroes for his imaginary world. And yeah, he will be superhero. I think he will be what I mean is he will be also a superhero in this somewhere. I mean, not him, but like he will imagine himself as one, at least once. Yeah, for sure, if nothing goes wrong. Yeah, that's there. I think this is my character, that he experiences these two worlds and he does it through a box. So when he puts his box on, he's into the imaginary world. When he removes it, he's into this normal